Once you've finished the video and you've exported it out in all the versions that you want, now you want to archive it. And that just means putting it somewhere where you can access it again if you need to. So if you need to upload it again or reuse the footage for another piece, or even to re-edit it if you have to. So first, you want to make sure that you've got everything in one place. Make sure that your project file, the file that your editing program uses, is somewhere in the same folder with the footage on your hard drive. I'll often make a folder titled Projects because, as you may have noticed, I like organization. I'll put any project files that I have in there. If you have more than one project file, maybe different files for different versions, or some of them may be older backup versions, you may want an archive folder inside your projects folder so that you don't have to figure out which project file is the one that you need. Keep the good one in the main folder and put the rest in that archive folder. Or if they're just backup projects files, well, you can probably get rid of them now that you're done editing. Make sure that any project files, that they're named with something that lets you know what you're looking at. So you can find the correct file when you're looking a year from now and you don't remember why you called one project file number 17, and another one project file 2, and another one project file X. And then give your project a quick once-over to look for any files that may not be in the folder with the rest of your footage. If you have a logo, did you make a copy of the logo and put that in the footage file? Or did you just use the one that's on the Office server? It's a good idea to add a copy into that footage folder in case the server file, if it gets moved or renamed or anything. Gather all your graphics, all your music, your sound effects in with the rest of the footage. A couple of minutes spent looking now may save you hours of hunting later. And make sure that every exported version of your project is in this folder, in its own export folder, and labeled in a way that, again, a year from now, you know which one is which. Well, once you've got all your files assembled and complete, then you want to think about where and how do you want to store this? And there are lots of options. One is just to leave it on this hard drive that you've been using. If it's a removable USB hard drive that's dedicated for your video work, well, that may be a fine option. If not, you might want to just worry about the files getting moved or deleted or corrupted. And that's possible no matter where the footage ends up, but it's more likely if it's on a drive that gets used for other things. You may want to invest in a larger archive drive. You can usually get a pretty large external hard drive that isn't incredibly expensive, around $100, maybe a little more. They might be a little slower than a good solid state drive, but slower usually means that they're cheaper. And since this is just for storage, it doesn't need to be fast, it just needs to hold the footage. I actually edit my footage from my smaller SSD drives because they're fast, but all my footage is backed up on a 20+ terabyte server that I keep separate. This is what I do for a living, so I need something a little more robust than the normal user. The server actually has 4 hard drives inside it, and it's set up to be redundant with its data. So all the data is spread out and repeated across all 4 drives. So that way, if one of the drives, if it breaks down or fails, well, I can pop that one out and then replace it with a good one. And the server can rebuild all the data from the copies that are all on the other 3 drives. It's a safeguard that helps me sleep at night. So while I'm working on a project, the project, it's on the SSD drive that I'm working from, but it's also backed up on my server at the same time. And then once I'm done with the project, well, I clean it up on the SSD drive and I move any last data over to the server for long-term archiving. Then I'm ready to use that SSD drive for a new project. Again, a lot of people, that's going to be overkill for you. The main point of all this is you want to archive your project by getting all the files that you use together, making sure that they're organized in a way that'll make sense to you or someone else in the future, and then putting it somewhere where you can easily store it and find it later.